Today is February the 14th, 1996, and this is Dick Huddleston. What's your full name? What's your full name, Dick?
Walter William.
Walter William. You was born in.
Yeah, they nicknamed me Dick when I was about 2 days old.
2 days old. You was born what year?
1909.
1909. That makes you 80.
86.
86.
Be 80. 25th of April, be 87.
You worked here at the park from, when did you start with the forest?
1930, 5th of January, 36.
1936. And you retired?
Retired 74.
1974. And when you started, what was your job when you started?
They called me assistant payroll clerk. I was head timekeeper. Started keeping time. Each foreman would have 15, 20 men, and they're cutting out roads and building bridges and things. And I'd go around, and each one of the foremen had a timekeeper with him, and I'd go around and catch the time from the timekeeper. Well, I asked Pimenter, I says, how am I going to get around? He says, catch these trucks. Well, the trucks is going the wrong way for me all the time. I was about to walk my legs off. Come in one evening late. I told Pimenter, I says, these trucks is always going the wrong way for me. I said, I can't get around with them. I said, what about riding my horse? He says, can't pay you nothing for him, but says, be all right. So, man, I got on that horse. Boy, I had it made. I mean, I knew every pig path, every road and everything, you know. I'd go up and catch a time every morning and come back after lunch and check them, get in tool shed about 2 or 3 o'clock. And so I rode horseback and caught the time.
How many people, how much time did you keep up with? How many people were working here at the time?
Let's see. I guess it's around 200, I guess.
200 people.
I imagine it was, I'm not sure, but I guess it's somewhere around that.
So they were all in different. You said different foremans had different ones.
Yeah, some of them was cutting out roads, and some building culverts, and some were cutting timber for cabins, and some carpenters, and there was Jim Green and a bunch of them. No, a fellow Don. He was head carpenter, and he wasn't much of a carpenter, but his brother had been a carpenter and he had a lot of tools, and so they made him head carpenter. Well, Jim Green was working under him. They had working on the lodge up there, and A.W. Jerkin, they was building this bathhouse down here, and they was wanting to, instead of putting batting on the corners, they wanted to cut the weatherboarding to a point like that. And I was catching time out there, and Jerkin was out there. They'd mark it off, and they'd saw it, and it'd be that way, and it'd be that way. And I told Jerkin, I says, go get Jim Green, he'll show you how to cut that. Oh, Jim Green, you don't know. I said, I bet you $20 he can. Well, go get him. Well, I went up there and told Mr. Jim, I says, go down and show him how to cut them corners, Mr. Jim. He went to come down here and took his square and marked it off. There's a water joint, you know. And made him head foreman. Carpenter foreman.
Carpenter foreman since he showed him that.
Yeah. Jurgen, he is out just out of school, and he thought he knew it all. Clarence, the funny thing happened is had them old scoops, and it's right down here, just below this bridge, and they'd hang on a root and fly over.
Scoops. They were using them to make the road with.
And so Jurgen, he got over one. Clarence Ingram had a big team of mules. He got over one. Let me show you how. Clarence said, "Come here." Man, throw Jurgen clean up all the check lines between the mules.
Jerked him off of there, huh? What was that? Just leveling the road up and pulling the rocks and roots up? Is that what that was? The bucket was for?
No, all that moving dirt, you know, and them old slip pans, you know. You've seen them, and then they had the wheelers, what they call dirt movers on wheelers, a team of mules, a team of horses of mules, and now they.
How many people was working on the lodge at the time? You said that.
Well, different time.
Mr. Green was a carpenter up there.
Yeah.
So he did a lot. He supervised the work.
Yeah.
And
Butler, fellow named Butler, he is an electrician, and he running the wires and everything, wiring everything, and then let's see, he had Pete Thompson, and I forget now how many he did. He had 3 or 4 working with him, and he's keeping the wiring up as they built. You know, he kept the wiring, and then oh man, if I knowed. It's 86 years, well, George, I forgot a lot of things. I think I know what it was. I thought up a lot of stuff that
did and you said they used a lot of the stuff out of the Susie Warren house primarily. Some of the beams.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
blocks.
Chimney rocks and a lot of chimney rocks, you know, and you take a lot of these old these old houses, you know, they was dressed rocks, you know, and they used a lot of them. And
where did the millstone in the thing come from? Do you know?
Let's see. I believe it come from off the old Knight place up here where I live, the Harvey Knight place. There's a 2 stones laying back up after the pond there. Somebody had to, I don't know how come laying there, but somebody had something there. And I think that's where they come from. I don't know who who had a mill or whatever it was they had up there. But there's the old Harvey Knight place, and which is some of your folks.
Yes, up there close to the old Knight Cemetery up there.
Yeah.
Back up in there.
Yeah.
Well, did they go out to Sue Warren House? Was they tearing it down and said, "Hey, we're going to use these," or did they plan using the stuff out of the houses when they designed the building?
Yeah. They what is good, you know, like cedar logs and things like that, you know. They used, you know, everything that was good, you know. And but you take that old Sue Warren house, it had some good logs. I mean, some of them that big square.
Foot or more thick.
Huh?
A foot or more thick.
Yeah. they took them logs, you know, and three-cornered them, you know. And yeah,
Who'd you say the rock mason was again up there?
oh, Yarber,
Yarber.
Bill Yarber.
Was he from around here?
Yeah, they lived around here. I think old man Bill lived in Lebanon when he was working here. He went crazy. By George chopped his wife up with an axe. They put him in jail and he hung himself.
Same one that worked on this one. Oh.
The old man Bill, he built them chimneys up there, and
He was a good mason.
oh yeah, he was the best. He's just the best. And then Bill, his son, and Jim, his son, they was good. They knew the business of rocks.
I wonder if they still live in Lebanon, do you know?
No, I don't know. Bill, last I heard of him, he's in North Carolina or somewhere, and but Jim, I don't know. I don't know what ever become of Jim. It seemed like, yeah, I believe he married Grace Rucker and she died. He died, I believe that's what they. But they all, I reckon, they're all dead. Because Bill, he is 55, 50 years old or more when he's working out here. But old man Bill was old, real old. He's up, I guess he's up in his 70s when
he was working here.
Mm-hmm.
So he was an old style rock mason.
Yeah, he is the daddy of Bill, Bill Jr. and Jim.
Where did they quarry some of the? You said they had to cut some.
Down here, in Moxon, down about just this side of the Richmond Shop Road, they had a quarry there, and then they had about a mile west of the highway, they had a quarry there, and then back up here, about a mile and a half from the end of the road on the east side, the Forest Road on the east side, they had one up there.
Now there's a quarry way on out going towards Gladeville, out there on the right, down the main Moccasin Road. You know, you can see that right there. Was that the quarry? That was where they got a lot of rocks.
Yeah. Well, that they had a rock crusher there.
Okay.
And but the quarry and rock, they'd find the rock with a seam in it, some that thick and everything, and they'd quarry them, you know, clean the dirt off of them and quarry them.
They do it by hand. You said with hand drills?
Oh yeah.
How'd they do that?
They drill holes, with old hand drills, strike drills.
Striking it and it'd move and strike it. And move.
Yeah, it'd be two a striking the drill, you know, and it didn't have well, they finally did get a compressor with jackhammers and things, but they did a lot of it just the hard way, just the old strike drill, you know.
Now they put that porch on the far side. You know, the porch, was that open at one time?
No, that is what they call a sunroom, which is on the north side. I don't know why they call it a sunroom. Then they use it for.
So it was screened in at one time. First, was it screened in first, or was it just open?
No, it had windows, and it's always had windows and everything around. Then they had the concession in there a good long time, you know. And but it is just had windows all around, you know, and you call it a sunroom, but it'll be on the north side of the building. I don't know why.
did the same, they had rock walkways out there too, the patio and where that big slab rock is, didn't that used to be a rock? Didn't that used to be fields, flagstones on the ground?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, there's flagstone. Then
did Yarber do all that too?
yeah, all the Park Service. No, they did that before. They put flagstone down, and then you see they turned the forest after the state took over, where they turned the forest and park together. But then the Forest Service took over the forest outside the recreation center, and the Park Service had 30 acres here at the recreation center. And the Park Service and Forest Service, and so after they turned it over to the state, E.S. Pimenta come to me one day and says, be ready to go to Nashville, says the state forest wants to see you. I says, what does the state forest want me? He said, he run on a bunch of food. They had a D.P. Coffee made furniture over here at the shed, and they had a lot of furniture in the Lebanon Fair. They sent an exhibit to Lebanon Fair, so they had me to go stay at the exhibit. Stayed 7 days at Lebanon. Then they carried to Nashville, and they sent me to Nashville. Well, every afternoon, a great big old man would come by. He'd say a few words, go on down the next booth. I'd see him talking to somebody. He'd look back up there towards where I was. There's a state forest, and he's checking on me. I didn't know the state forest. He was coming down there, he was checking on me. Well, after they turned it over to this park, he told Pimenta, said, I want that Huddleston boy to be my ranger. He's taking over the forest outside the recreation center. And so that's how I happened to be a ranger outside the recreation center. I had charge of the forest outside the recreation center.
You said there was a sawmill set up to saw a lot of the cedar too? The cedar that was used at the old, at the lodge, you said they sawed it around here too? Sawed the old cedar?
What is that?
At the old lodge?
Yeah, I think they sawed a lot of it. Odell Lanham, he had a bunch of cutting timber, and I think Von Coyle, and then they carried it and had it planes, and everything. And I think he sawed a bunch of it. He had a sawmill down here in Moxon, that spring down there at the Burke place.
So, but they cut the timber.
Mm-hmm.
There was still some timber left.
Yeah,
around the area.
Yeah, see, they built them log cabins out of squared those logs, and you take Bob, he drove a truck and hauled them logs out. Man, he'd be wet. I mean, he'd just really be getting hot. But he drove a truck and hauled logs down to the mill, and they'd square them, 3 sides of them, and one side outside around it,
But there was still some timber left at that time.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of timber left.
But you remember when all this was being farmed, like the ball field, didn't they farm that at one time? Did Lanham farm around the ball field and farm different areas right before the forest, right before it was bought by the state? Didn't they do some farming around? How did people get by, make a living?
They farmers, they farm, milk cows. You take, see, they built this Carnation milk plant over here in Marlboro, and I know Jim Leathers. My daddy lived in Marlboro, and there's kid. And Jim Leathers come out there one day. We lived down there just below the park entrance. Stopped by there and said, Walter, Carnation building a milk plant over here at Marlboro. And says they want somebody to drive a truck and haul milk. And so I was about 15 years old. Man, I begged him to take it, and Daddy always said, you got to go to school. He didn't take it, and Mr. Harvey Knight took the job, him and so people bought cows, come buying milk cows, you know, and milking, and they'd pick up the milk every morning, and so everybody sold milk and made a crop, and so that's how they made a living.
But it was pretty rough to make a living, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't too rough. Well, it was for some people, but all during that depression, we never had the finest clothes, had good enough. Went to Daddy sent us to school, always had plenty to eat, and never, but of course, things were tough. I know I got out of school, high school in 28, tried to get a job, you couldn't find a job nowhere. Uncle Ben running the store up there. Said, come up here to work with me. I went up there. Tal traded for a set of shop tools, and I put them tools up in Alderman old shop place. I went shoeing horses. People back then, you know, they built these, what they call Georgia buggies, and using horses and mules. And so I went shoeing horses, and I got about all I could do. But
What'd you charge?
You'd be surprised. Number oughts got 80 cents shoeing a horse, had to turn the shoes, made 40 cents. Number ones got $1, had to turn the shoes, still made 40 cents. Number twos, $1.50, and still made 40 cents. Reset shoes, a nickel a shoe, 20 cents. Got all of old Joe Puckett, Frank Lowe, Frank Moody. There's blacksmiths. There's old men. They wouldn't shoot the ones that never been shod, and the mean ones, they sent them to me.
You got the mean ones.
I got all the mean ones and all the young ones.
So you'd work all day and make about how much? How many horses did you shoot a day?
The biggest day I ever did was put on 22 shoes. Turned 18 and reset.
So they just
10.
kept them coming, huh? And you'd make how much on a good day?
That'd be, well, at 18, about 10 cents a shoe, about what you get.
So you'd make $1, about $2 a day. If you made $2 a day, you were doing real good.
Yeah. Now, my goodness, you can't get a horse shod for even flat shod, $35. Don't seem fair, does it? All the hard work. Up at that old scale shed, there's 2 posts, just the right distance apart, a meaner, young one. I'd tie his head up here, up the side of the wall, put a knot in the hair of his tail and tie his tail this and down here. String him up the side of that wall, shoe one side, turn him around and shoe the other. They'd fight it for you a little bit, but they'd soon give it up.
Most people, so there was a lot of horses out here at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, people used them in. There's a lot of buggies, and they built them two-wheel carts, you know, and they'd call them Georgia buggies. They use them. Then people didn't have tractors, you know. They used mules on the farm, you know.
That was about what year was that?
About 1929, 30, and 31, 30, up to about 30, 33. I married in 33.
So you remember everybody running those buggies around and
Oh yeah, I had one myself.
up until that time.
Mm-hmm.
Then the cars started coming in.
Yeah.
Right after that.
Yeah.
As far as getting around, everybody still had their mules, I guess.
Yeah, back then, I was going with my wife. She had a mule up at the side of the road. New car come up the road. Didn't see many new cars. New car looked up. There come a new car up the road. Got up a little close to me, but I thought that was my girl in there with that guy. I said, Dad, Barton, somebody got my gal. And so I called her that night and I says, who's your boyfriend? She said, oh, he's my cousin. He's a distant cousin. I've always been wondering. Lived over here the other side of Motorburg, had two big farms out there. Lived with his mother. He was out looking for a wife. All I had was T-Model Ford and the elbow and appetite. I always wondered why she took me instead of him.
You had a big, nice car, huh?
Huh?
It was a big, nice car.
Yeah,
car.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was pretty rough. A lot of people had it mighty rough, but
What crops did everybody raise mostly around here?
wheat and some tobacco and corn, oats and hay and
So wheat was pretty big.
huh?
Wheat was a big crop.
Yeah, yeah. We'd thrash, help one another, neighbors, you know. And Barney Coyle had a thresher. He'd thrash through the country, and old man Hal Tribble, he was the best thresherman in the country. He'd come through, and I know, and they'd have what they call a club. For instance, we'd help Richmond Thompson, we'd help Phillips's, and on up Summers Bluff Road there, we'd help everybody thrash.
You had a club.
And I know Uncle Johnny Jordan, he wasn't my uncle, everybody called him that. The old man's 83 years old. I was up there, he come around, told me, he says, hey, says, I want fella, whoever was with me, he wanted him sack at the thresher, sack of wheat. Says, I'll go with you. I think, my goodness, we won't never get a load. Man, that's the toughest old man you ever seen. I mean, he'd throw up. Man, it took me I'd be up on a wagon, you know, and you'd lay the heads in and put your foot on them, you know, and man, that old man was throwing them bundles up there. I mean, he kept me busy. We got a load for anybody. Him 83 years old. He was the toughest old man I ever seen.
So y'all would bundle it up on the ground and then throw it up on the wagon?
Yeah, it'd be shocked up. It'd shock it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They'd cut it with a binder, and then it'd be in bundles. And they'd shock it. Put about 10 or 12 bundles in a shock. And then when they thrash, well, they just pull around through them shocks, you know. I know Richmond Thompson seen me sowing some sacks. Uncle Ben had a granny then. He was all the time selling seed and stuff. Seen me sowing some sacks one day, and good old man, he wanted me to sow his sacks. Got on that, Uncle Johnny on the creek, he had oats. Man, they was good. I mean, the heads that long. And so I was sacking, sowing. He had 5 bushel oat sacks. You take a wheat sack, about 6 stitches, wrap your ear, you know, about 6 stitches, and then wrap your other ear. And we'd get a wheat sack, but a 5 bushel oat sack took about 12, and sometime about 14. Hard as James Jones pulled up on each side of unloading. Man, they was covering me up. Man, that old concave, they whoop, whoop. Man, you had to come up sluice of oats big as your leg. They finally choked it down. Old man Trevor made them slow down. They was working me to death, man. They poured it over my soul back. But we'd help thrash, everybody thrash. Be about 10 in a club. Everybody'd help everybody thrash, you know.
Did y'all take it to the mill? Did y'all take it to the mill after that? What did y'all
No,
do?
they'd put it in sacks and they'd sell it to carry it to Moselsburg to over here at Shovel. They'd sell it, you know. 2.5 bushel sacks, you know. 2 bushel and a half to a sack.
So you didn't take it to the mill yourself? Did you ever take it to the local?
We'd carry some and put it on deposit, and then the mill would take it, and you put wheat on deposit, maybe so many bushels, and you then pick up your flour later on, you know, and we'd put it on deposit, and like Martha White here in Lebanon, I carry maybe 10 or 15, 20 bushels up there to put on deposit, and then when you need a sack of flour, go by and get it, you know. And they'd which made it pretty handy. You didn't.
They keep up with it for you as far as that how much bushels you brought in and how much it was worth.
What is
They would keep up with it for you.
Yeah.
But as far as mills go, like Allsup's mill and Knight's mill, all that wasn't working at that time.
That is grist. I mean, that is corn mill. They didn't grind flour, you know.
Okay.
Didn't make flour.
They just grind corn.
Yeah.
But did you carry any corn out there much?
Yeah, every once in a while we'd carry a turn of corn out there and get it ground, you know, and make meal. Yeah.
Did you raise much cotton?
Raised 1 crop of cotton. Had that little 4-acre patch right north where we live down there. That's the only cotton I ever raised. And I didn't want no more cotton.
Didn't make any money.
No, didn't make much.
Too hard to do, too much labor, or why didn't you like it?
Huh?
Why didn't you like the cotton?
Oh, goodness gracious, that picking and everything, my goodness, the way you make your fingers sore, they're picking that stuff and crawling around on your knees or picking. It's a mess. Chopping, you had to chop it, you know. They didn't like cotton.
How did people make their money? Did you say they made their money by raising wheat? Was that one way, or?
Yeah, cotton and cattle, and they'd raise cattle and sell calves, you know, and some of them was traders. Take Tal and Ben. They was Uncle Ben. I've seen Uncle Tal trade the horses 2 or 3 times a day. Buy one, trade somebody. He had a little old blue mule. Called him Snookums. He rode him up somewhere and rode up in front of the store one day. Snook was the best. Snook was a fox walking mule, man. He wouldn't shake you in the saddle. Rode up in front of the store one day. Snook was the best thing I ever seen. He says, I'm going to keep him as long as he lives. Pulled around the side. Somebody wanted to look at the mule. He pulled around the side of the store. Instead of bringing his foot back over the saddle, he brought it over Snookum's neck. Touched Snookum on the neck. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He hit flat on his back. He traded Snookum off at it.
So he was riding his mule. Everybody would ride mules and work them.
Yeah.
You could ride them and work them.
Yeah. You take a fox walking mule. They're the easy riding. They ride easier than a horse does. They really. You don't see many of them. But if you ever see one, man, they're the easiest riding thing you ever seen. He won't shake you in the saddle.
Yeah, mules was a big thing around here at one time, wasn't it? Mules.
Huh?
People raised a lot of mules.
Oh yeah,
around
yeah. Howard Hancock down there, he kept a bunch of brood mares, and he raised a lot of mules, and most everybody kept a. Old man John Jordan, he kept jacks and stud horses and things, and. People breed the mares, you know.
They when they started buying land, when the government did, what did they just have a meeting in town and they brought it up? How did y'all hear that they were going to start buying land in the area for the park?
Well, really, they commenced buying land. I forget what that man's name was. He's from down West Tennessee. He come up here and they commenced buying land. And then he went up at the store. Tal and Ben, Uncle Tal run the store down here at Beer's Mill, and Ben run the store up here, the old store place. And they got with them. Of course, they'd owned a lot of land. Traded on it. They'd buy an old place and then trade it off, you know, and they'd owned a lot of the land back up here, the other side of Hurricane, back in there. And they'd tell this fellow to go to them, he'd tell them who owned it and everything, and he'd go take an option on it, you know.
Well, did they know what he was buying it for? Did he tell them that he was buying it for the federal government? And when did y'all find out about that?
Well, I reckon let's see. I think it's about 35 is when they commenced buying land, taking option on it. And man, that man out of Clay, I forgot that man's name. He was buying for the government, state now. I mean, the government.
Did they tell you that he was? Did they have a meeting and tell everybody, or?
Yeah, they had a meeting over at Hurricane Church, Hurricane Schoolhouse, and this fellow made a speech and told them what is going to happen, you know, and then he.
Did everybody like it, or did it make some of them mad? Or?
Well, most of them, all right. There's few that didn't want to sell their place, you know, and but most of them went along with it, and they. No, they'd Uncle Bud, he's lived down there, and he'd been a magistrate and knew everybody in the country, and he helped out some with it. They, no, most of them, I think most of them agreed to, they go to resettle them, you know, had a, what they call a resettlement thing, but that fell through.
They told them they were gonna resettle them,
Oh, yeah.
and it fell through.
But that all fell through. The people got out and bought the places and you know, other places, you know. And
How did the resettlement plan work that they were told?
it didn't work too good. They was getting some land over about Cumberland River back in there somewhere, and it finally just fell through. It never did. They never did do no good with that.
What was the idea of it all? What did they tell them?
Well, they was getting land that they could buy. You know, taking options on land that they could buy, but
More or less swapping this land for land over there.
Mm-hmm. Well, they was giving so much acre for this. Guess what they give for it? $8 an acre average. Average of $8 an acre.
And they told the people that they would have land over on good land over on the Cumberland River.
They could sell. They could buy.
That they could buy it cheap, and give a good deal on it.
But it all fell through. People come in, sold, just bought the places, you know. They didn't go through the resettlement business. They just
went out and found them a place. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't want to move over there.
No.
So it wasn't the government's fault. It was just the people not wanting to buy the land.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's the reason it fell through, on account of people just didn't buy it. Wasn't buying through the government. You know, they just taking what they got out of the forest and buying their own place. I mean, just buying places that suit them better.
Some of them didn't want to move off the land, though.
What
Some
is
of them didn't want to move off the land. Who didn't want to move off the land? Do you remember?
I don't. Mr. Williams' family.
Willie who?
Williams.
Willie Williams.
He owned about 300 acres back over yonder by Hurricane. A good cattle farm and everything, and he didn't want to sell, but the lawyer, he didn't name sell, but the lawyer for the state, Mr. Widow, was old. He was up there one day, and he always says, "Oh, if I could get you to sign these papers," they told him didn't amount to anything. Mr. Williams signed it, and he signed his place over.
So you think they kind of suckered him into?
Well, George had done the old man up one, and that lawyer, I thought a lot of him, but I never did take much of him after that, taking advantage of an old man, you know.
That's that place up behind the fire tower,
Mhm,
Williams'
yeah,
place back
yeah,
where the silos sit.
Yeah.
There's an old silo
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
He's buried up there with his two wives, Eudora.
Huh?
He's buried up there with his
Uh-huh,
two wives.
yeah. Yeah, the family didn't want to sell it, but lawyer got him to sign those papers. My George, he signed it.
Wonder what he sold it for. Wonder how much he got for his place.
Dog find no others. I don't know what he got for it.
Do you remember talking about the big trees that used to be here?
Yeah.
Cedars?
Mm-hmm.
There used to be big cedars all around in the area.
Yeah, Uncle. I heard Uncle Bud tell about he used to run a peddling wagon back when he was a young man. He said, old man Jim Green's, It said birds come in this going down the bushes and everything. Come up storm. He eats his team out there. And it blowed down Cedars, big Cedars, from the southwest to the northeast, and said there's a strip about 2 miles wide, just cleaned the big Cedars. That must have been back in the early 1900s.
Is that the storm they talked about and changed the name of the church?
Huh?
Was that a storm they talked about coming and changed the name of the church to
Uh-huh.
American? The church name.
I don't know. I think the storm come through before that, because I heard them talk about, Uncle Bud talk about big Cedars. At that storm, he'd seen big Cedars. That storm had blowed down, but that come through back in the 1800s, sometime in the 1800s, I think.
What was the biggest cedar you can remember seeing around?
I reckon about 3 feet, 3 foot in diameter. There used to be one over here at the old, what they call the old Polytim Spring, and it finally blowed down, but there's a holler, and then there's, I think there's one still over there, I believe that's still standing. It's about 2.5 feet in diameter. It's short. Been a little higher than this. About 2.5 feet.
Say they tried to grow cedar and replant cedar here when they first started the forest.
What?
The government tried to grow cedar.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
It didn't work out too well, or?
Yeah, we had a nursery down here below that lower shelter there. That used it for a nursery out. They turned it into a picnic shelter. But they had that field up there. Had 34 beds, 4 foot wide and 200 feet long. You had 10 rows of cedars planted on that. You see, we took them. You know how we cured the cedar seed, don't you? The cedar seed, cedar berry, goes through a bird, softens that hull, and it'll come up just like seed corn. That's what makes so many around fence rows, and so what they did, but you just plant the berry. It takes it 2 years to come up. That seed's so hard, it softens. Takes 2 years of softening before it'll sprout. Well, they took those seed, those berries, they gather those berries, and scour farm, who had a frame built with a 1/4-inch hardware cord wire. We'd rub those through that wire, and then put the seed and pulp all down, put it in a can, maybe a 5 or 10 gallon, about a 10-gallon can. And we'd lean that can over, put a hose in there and start the water. You'd float all that pulp out and leave the seed in the bottom. Then they'd take them seed and put a layer of seed, a layer of burlap, and then a layer of burlap and a layer of seed. fill a box up about that long, about that wide. Put it in a deep freeze. Keep it down to 40 degrees, 90 days. And they'd come up like seed corn. Then they'd take them, plant them in them beds, and then they'd get up about that high, they'd lift them, bundle them up, and plant some of them, and then they'd got shipping them different states. One day a man come out there, I'd been lifting Cedars, and Mr. Hazard State Forest had been sending me addresses where to send them to. I'd carried 11.
They were selling them.
And they're selling them. And so, man drove up out there one day and says, where's your license? I didn't got it, didn't know nothing about no license. He says, you've been shipping trees out of the state? I guess. Yeah, I've been shipping them Mississippi, Alabama, and North Carolina, and everywhere. He says, somebody's in trouble. I says, I hope it ain't me. I called Mr. Hazard. I says, man, there's a man up here about to put me in the penitentiary. You had me shipping these doggone cedars out, and he's up here looking for license, permits. And Hazard says, let me talk to him. He talked to him. I never heard no more about it. But George went down there one day, and the permit was hanging up on the wall.
Well, did the trees do very well? I noticed a lot of groves are real thick, and they don't thin themselves well, do they?
The cedars?
Uh-huh.
No, they don't. They're not growing. They take back over here. On old Merritt Place. They planted in 36 and 37. Some of them won't measure over 4 inches. And you take where they volunteered. I got to know a lot over at home that I've had cut off, and let's see, I bought the place in 38. And I had it cleaned off twice. And George's cedars in there now to make 6-inch cedars. And just volunteer. And
so they might have done better by just letting them come up naturally as trying to.
Yeah, if they just left it alone, let them come. Nature took its course. Why they'd
been better off.
Yeah, you take some volunteers right across the road from them. We planted it's big enough for posts. Now George, them we planted in 37 and 38 and long there. But I can give people a job.
Do you remember who's buried up by the park office? Isn't there some graves up there at the main park office up there on the hill? Who's buried up there?
Let's see. Yeah, there's a Herschel. Lamb, Posey Lamb's wife, and was a sister to him, and the whole family died with what was his name? killed so many people back in the
Smallpox.
Huh?
Smallpox.
smallpox. And they somebody come through. They lived out down right there about the highway somewhere. Somebody come through and they let them stay all night, and they had smallpox. Give it to them.
When was this? Do you know about what year?
You know, I don't know. They just and
Is this before you were born? Or
yeah, oh yeah, it's years before I was born. And Pose's wife waked up one morning with a sister on each side of her dead. And so the whole family's big, except her. She didn't. She got by, lived, and they were buried up there. I don't know what their names are. I forgot. I think I've heard the name, but I forgot what their names was.
But they weren't Lanhams. They were.
Huh?
They weren't Lanhams.
No, they wasn't Lanhams.
Well, I had heard they had caught them from gypsies. Gypsies came through. I had heard that gypsies came through and they got smallpox then.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, they got it.
You know where they're buried at?
Yeah, I guess I could find it. I know it's way back up on that hill. It's kind of north. It's kind of west of where the tower is up there. You know, a little bit northwest of the tower back on that hill. I don't know whether I can find it now or not.
There's no rocks up there anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just rocks and old.
No monuments. You know, how did Burnhouse Road get its name?
There's a house burned on it. I forget now where it was, but that's how it's got its name. It's somebody had a house that burned on it, and they named it Burnhouse Road. But I don't know who it was. It's I believe the house was out that the entrance, right to the entrance there. But I don't know who owned it or nothing about it.
Do you remember when they had a whiskey still up there?
Huh?
Do you remember when they had a whiskey still up there close to the old fire tower? Bud Baird had a whiskey still. Do you remember that?
No, Uncle Al Shiggles, I've heard him talk about that. This one of the beard women come out here with a church group. We got there's an old long rock about that long, about that wide. Had a piece of iron in it. And we got it down there and put it in the middle of the walk up there so people couldn't drive down. And so this one of the bearded women, I don't know what her name was, but anyway, she was out there with a church group. They seen that rock standing up there, that piece of iron in. When I asked what it was, I said, "Oh, it's come from up here at the old Steelhouse place." And he said, "Steelhouse? Yeah, he used to make whiskey up there at the old." And you mean them you bears made whiskey? He kind of got away with me, I know. And they had quite an argument about it. The beers making whiskey up there. And Uncle Al said he remembered a fella digging a well, dug the well with a groundhog well digger. You know what a groundhog well dig is? It's had a platform, put 2 horses on it, they walked on that platform, worked it. There's just a 4-inch hole. And so that wasn't furnished enough water, and so they had a fellow dig a 6-inch hole, ream that out and make a 6-inch hole out of it. And by golly, well, no, he dug another well side of it, right side of the old well. And by George, they fixed to turn it over to the state. He dug on a slack rope, had a curve in it about like that. And then they put that electric pump in, and 12-inch, 6-inch casing with a 3-inch sucker rod and 12 6-foot cylinder on the bottom, double action cylinder on the bottom. That working like that. Well, about every 2 or 3 months, that pump would break down. Well, instead of pulling all that sucker rod out the top and everything, we'd go into the cave, take a cylinder off, and bring it out the mouth of the cave. It's water about this deep, man. You'd shiver for 2 hours after you come out. And you go in there and take it off and bring it out the mouth of the cave. Instead of pulling all that out top, you do it in 30 at a time, So we'd go out there and take that cylinder off and carry a couple of pipe wrenches and break that 4-inch coupling loose. It's pretty rough.
But this was because the hole was drilled wrong, you're saying?
Huh?
What caused that? Because the hole was drilled wrong?
Yeah, the whole curve in the hole, you could let a bulb down in it, and George would go clean out of sight. He dug on a slack rope, and George had a curve in it.
So that was dug before the park was established, right?
No.
Okay, he dug it right after that.
Yeah. Now the old well is dug with a groundhog digger. Well, it's straight as air, but it's just a 4-inch hole. Wouldn't furnish enough water, But it's straight as air. This fella, they was rushing him. George, he dug on too slack a rope and it made a curve.
That's when the government was paying him.
Yeah.
Digging a bigger. Did it always furnish water all the time, or did it run out in the summertime?
No, it furnished water all the time. It'd be right around here, and the real dry, it'd be up waist deep. That's quite a job. No image guys working here. He went under there with me. We took it off. Next day, I didn't see him. I asked Camille, his wife, I said, what's come of him? He said, he was so cold he'd come in and drink a half pint of whiskey and went to bed, and then he got upset. And never did get him out of there no more.
So the whiskey still used to be up there. They used to have
the
whiskey still up there at the.
No, there wasn't nothing up there. When they come us looking for the well, everything had grown up around it, and everything. And so Malcolm Dunn, he was with him. He knew about where it was. So he had a crowbar and come his punch it. He finally hit that. Like to drop this crowbar in finally found it, and then they dug that other well about 3 foot from it.
So So the old whiskey still was pretty close to Burnhouse Road coming down through there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right where the Tower House was. Right there where the well house was. Is that well house still up there?
No.
It ain't. It's the well house set right over it, you know.
Was there, this hole back on further out Burnhouse Road, old Burnhouse Road, on the Clemens place, Doc Clemens place? The round hole?
Yeah,
Did you ever hear anything about that, or didn't they used to have whiskey out there, make whiskey out there too?
Yeah, they made whiskeys. The old fellow Ingram, man, he made whiskey all over that place up there. He lived up at the Harvey Knight place, where I live.
This was way before forestry, way before the government took the land.
Yeah, that's before the forest guys. The old man Dick Bingham, that's all he ever done, make whiskey. I don't reckon they ever did catch him, man. George, I never heard of it, if they did.
But he used to sit up there, back there on that creek and
Mm-hmm.
get the water out of the.
Yeah, there's a spring back there on the Charlie Knight place. The Harvey Knight, and then the Charlie Knight place, the other side of it, and there's a spring back there. He owned that. And there's places all around there. I found a keg, 5-gallon keg. Looking for a cow. I had a cow to have a calf. I couldn't find her. I looked, and it had been that long. It was buried up in the ground. Oh, about that much, just the bottom part of it. And I seen it laying there. I never thought about it having anything in it. Man, I kicked it and it didn't move. So I ran back and kicked it. And it was laying on the bung. And when it finally got it turned over, while that bung pulled out, man, some of the best smelling whiskey you ever smelled poured out on the ground. There ain't no telling how long it had been there. Just as red as it could be. You've heard about Mr. Madison, ain't you? He's in Nashville.
Madison Knight.
He is in Nashville. And had his team put up. He went get his team, and they had a stud horse there. Married, kicked him, broke his shoulder. And they was going to carry him to the soap factory. He gave him $5 for him, loaded him in his wagon, brought him home. Swung him up, and the shoulder got well. And he had colts, raised colts all over the country here. Best family of horses there was in the country, George Davis. And he got a high-bred horse, Man, I don't know how many people had. Uncle Taylor Boone had the last one of his colts, and then Mr. Harvey Knight, he had one of them.
Harvey had a sawmill, didn't he?
Huh?
Harvey Knight had a sawmill up at the Knight place.
No, I don't know. He might have. I don't know whether he did or not. I know Lenny Oliver, he had one up there for a good while. Back over, there's an old pond back over there. Lenny Oliver, he had a sawmill up there for a good while. And but I don't know whether Mr. Harvey, he could have had one back there. I don't know.
You didn't go to school over here by the horse barn. There used to be a school over there, didn't
Yeah, Friendship. It's right out east of the barn there. Friendship School. Calvin Williams, my brother-in-law, he went there, and Irvin Ward lives over here. He went there. You ought to go see him. He can tell you a lot of stuff too. He's back over here. Irvin Ward. Man, he's been around. He can tell you all about friendship and all that. But he's raised right across road over there.
Where'd you go to school at? You went to school at Harrican? You went to school at Harrican?
No, I went to school Major in Lebanon. High school in Lebanon. Well, gosh, I started school in Marlboro. My daddy lived in Marlboro about 5 years. And so I started school over there. Then moved to Smyrna. And I went to school in Smyrna. Moved to Nashville, went to school in Nashville, moved to Lebanon. Went to West Main School in Lebanon. Then moved out, bought the place out on 231 here. And went to school Major. And then after I finished Major, went to high school in Lebanon. Major used to be a 2-year high school, you know.
Where did that, there's another rock up here, this old big slab rock. Where did that come from?
It come from Bennett's Mill and sat out there on the patio, yeah. Yeah, it had my uncles bought the old place. It had a 2-story mill house on it. And they tore it down, and that rock had a steam engine set on that rock. You can see the way it set on, and so they moved it down here.
Did a lot of people use it? Was that one of the oldest later mills? Did they operate that mill?
Yeah. Oh. Goodness, got so old I can't think of. John William Bennett. John William Bennett run the mill for years, and I reckon he built the mill. But it is 3-story, and I had a picture of it, and somebody borrowed it, and I don't know what become of it. But
somebody from Murfreesboro, maybe one of the Bennett's had it.
What is it?
You told me, I think it was one of the Bennettts in Murfreesboro had it.
Yeah, John William Bennett, he moved to Marlboro after he sold the place. So old Bud Talon Ben bought the place. Now you see Bud and Talon Ben, Fanny and Eddie, and my grandmother all lived up there. And all of them, 3 old bachelor uncles, 2 old maid aunts. The old aunts never did marry, and Ben never did marry. And in the summertime, between the school out, I'd come up there and stay all the summer till I was a kid.
Up there about where the old store's at, up there.
Yeah. One day I had a bit of outlaw. I just stayed around that store. Everybody picked at me and come in.
There was a Simmons Bluff mill was on up the road too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Simmons is owned the Simmons mill up there, you know. It's,
Oh. Now right in there used to be a lot of buildings right right through there, didn't there, that's gone now. Then there used to be a blacksmith shop up there and
what is that?
Up the main forest road on Simmons Bluff. There used to be a blacksmith shop up there. Didn't you say Osmond?
Yeah, right at the end. It's on Simmons Bluff Road, right at the end of that main forest road. Yeah, town being owned it, and they sold it to the government. And during the maneuvers, there's a boy got bit by a rattlesnake, bit him in the face, and he died. He was laying out there in that glade around that old shop. And
he was a soldier and he got bit by a rattlesnake.
Yeah, they was bivouacking out there, and they was camping out there. And they didn't say much about it. One boy come down that store and said something about it. The Army don't tell you nothing, you know.
Did you ever hear of anybody else dying of rattlesnake, being bit by a rattlesnake?
No, not around here.
That's the only ones you've ever heard of.
Yeah.
But you've seen a lot of rattlesnakes.
Most I ever killed was 12 in a year, and the least I ever killed was 5. And all the time that worked, I killed a million. The 12 that I killed, 6 of them was little ones. And just about that long. Old and 6 little ones. Them little dickens didn't have no rattle. They'd stick that tail up and try to rattle.
Who was Peg-Leg Thomas? Who was Peg-Leg Thomas?
He's a fella that lived back over here, the other side of Hurricane. An old house over there used to be. Had about 2 or 3 acres. He come from up east somewhere. And I never did know. About all I ever knew of him, he said, they said he's quite a character. I don't know, I never did hear much about him. But he had a little old place over there, the other side of Hurricane, about a couple of acres, 2 or 3 acres. Had an old house set on it, but can't even find where the old house was now.
Who was the best musicians around, played music?
Best musician, Jules Robinson.
And he was the park manager here for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's just a ranger. I mean, he just works here at the park. No, Jules was the best fiddler. It was in the country. And Bill Rucker, he's a fiddler and banjo picker.
Was he the one that left here? One of them left, got into trouble and left, didn't he? Spencer was telling me about that.
Who was that?
So one of these fiddlers got in trouble and left the country. Do you remember who that was?
No, I don't. I don't know who that was. I don't know who that was. Musician?
Yeah, fiddler.
I don't know. That's got me stumped. I don't know. No, Julius, he taught Sid Harcrete how to fiddle. And so they got to having these fiddlers contests. And so Sid got to beating Julius. Man, it make Julius taught the rascal how to fiddle. And so, but Julius was, them old tunes, wasn't nobody beat him. He was really fiddler. We lived down there on 231. We walked through the field, go over there every Saturday night. Might near every Saturday night. And,
Where was that? Where'd y'all go?
huh?
Where did you go?
Oh, Julius lived out on that west Richmond Shop Road. And a bunch of kids go over there every Saturday night and listen to him fiddle, you know. Me and Dave and Bill was over there. And one night, and Jules, Bill got to ragging me and Dale about something. We're going home with some holes in the field, about half as deep as that ceiling. And Bill he had moon eyes or something. He couldn't see good at night. Dave told us to get Bill's fiddle when he gets over the fence there. We'll walk him off in that hole. Got to the fence. I said, "Give me your fiddle, Bill. You'll fall and break it." And got to that hole. We walked around. I had him in between us. He walked off in that hole, water about that deep. "You devils owe me something. Owe me one." He got even with us. Fixed our plow handles. And they were plowing. He whacked something that wasn't very nice under our plow. Bill done that, I'm gonna kill him. I seen him slipping through the bushes. Dave jumped the fence, run and caught him, rolled him in a mud hole down there. "Come here, Bob. Come here, Pa," says he. "Killed me. He's killed me." He got even with us.
Was there a black church around here close?
A what?
Black church for blacks, black people, a church.
Yeah, there's.
Was Atlanta Place? Was there one?
Yeah, let's see. No, there wasn't. Yeah, Zach Kaysen. He lived up at John Jordan's. Lived on the place up there, and he had a bunch of kids. I don't know, 6, 7 kids. And did you say a black church? Oh yeah. Yeah, there used to be one up Bart House Road there, up above the night place there. And then there's one, then they had a schoolhouse over yonder on just off the Assembly Bluff Road. An old fellow asked me some questions. He had C school. He thought it was college. I said, "No, it's colored school." And let's see,
It was called C
I don't, huh?
It was called C School?
No, I don't, no, that was called Cox Corner School.
Which one? The one up on Burnhouse or the one back here?
There's one up Assembly Bluff Road. Now, I don't know what they call this up here on the Burnt House. On the Burnt House, I don't know what they call it. But it is right on up the road from the old Harvey Knight House.
You said one time, what, James Ingram lived up on Burnhouse Road, and and you came through there and had a Victrola or something one day. You remember that story?
Is what?
Jane, do you remember one of the Ingrams that lived up on Burnhouse Road and had somebody came through there with a Victrola or radio and got him out of his house? Do you remember that story?
Oh yeah, yeah. Wes Ingram. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He lived up there, across from the old hog place there, and oh, Egson. Oh, darn, I can't think of his name. Give a name. Anyway, he lived on up there, above the old night place, and he come by one night. He had a graph for him. He put it on the front porch there and started playing, and Wes woke up, heard that. Valley, honey, what is it? What is it? He got up, and old Egson, Gordon Egson, he done this for me. He had hid in the chimney corner, and he said he had a bunch of fun out of it. Wes lived up there. I don't know, since he and Lanham, Posey Lanham, bought that old hog place. Well, you bought part of it, didn't you, up there? They bought that old hog place together. One house was on the south side of the road, and then an old log house set way back up in there. And Posey lived up there, and Wes lived on this side of the road.
Posey Land did.
Yeah.
Was Posey kin to Shirley?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he's Shirley's uncle.
He lived up there on that old place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did he do for a living?
He worked around farm. I reckon farm most of his life. He lived down there at Howard Hancock on his place a while. And share farm, you know.
Is that the place that's got the big mule barn on it? Is that the great big mule barn?
Yeah.
What did Wes do? Did he just farm?
Yeah, he worked for the county, and first one thing and another, and he finally went to Florida, and I think he died down there, and he worked around this first one thing and another. They laughed at him. Come to work one morning, some of them says, Wes, says, I can tell you what you had egg for breakfast on your mouth. Oh, I had egg yesterday morning. He's a funny one.
Who else lived out Burnhouse Road? Do you remember? Who else after Wes and Posey's place? Did anybody else live out through there?
And on the birdhouse, let's see. Fellow Beatles lived up there for a while. And
he lived between Matt Knight's place and Posey Lanham. He lived between the two.
what was that?
Who lived up between Posey Lanham's place and Matt Knight up there?
Pardons.
Pardons.
Mm-hmm. Walter Pardon family. They got that. They bought that for the Pardons, you know.
Is that part of Dick Pardon's and?
There's Walter Pardon. He had boy Foster, and a girl Janie, and one girl Grace, and I don't know, he had about 4 or 5 girls. They used to walk from up at the Major School.
They walk all the way from Major School up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a good walk, wasn't it?
Hmm?
That was a pretty good walk.
Yeah. We lived down there on 231. They'd come by walking. Maybe it's snow on the ground and everything.
What about that, the shooting up there, the day they shot Lance up there? You remember him?
The who?
Lance? The day, you remember that fella named Lance that Osmonds got into it with?
Yeah, Bill Lance. Yeah, they always. No, my daddy was coming up the road on a wagon. He lived down there at the old store place that my granddaddy did at that time. He was coming up the road on a wagon, and he said Bill Lance run out to his doors on the west side of the shop. Said Bill run out the west door, throwed up his hand, said, "Don't shoot me." I forget, can't think of his name now. Daddy said he seen him through the front door. Said he raised up a shotgun and shot him right out of there and killed him. Daddy, Uncle Henry, his brother, drove right along. Said he's gasping breath when they went by. They had Daddy for a witness, and he told it just what he seen, But I don't think he ever did anything with Osmond.
They had been feuding, hadn't they?
Huh?
Had they been feuding?
Yeah, somebody said it's over a dog. Lance had either killed a dog, one of the dog, or I don't know exactly what, but anyway, somebody said I've heard it's over a dog. Yeah, I asked Daddy, I said, he's about 14 years old. I said, did he sight you? He said, well, yeah, it tore me up. But he shot him right out of there and killed him dead. Daddy said he was gasping for breath when they passed by him.
What was he?
He traded. He was a trader. Him and Spurgeon Thompson traded together for years, and they fell out. And he had a boy named Walter. Went to school with us. Went to school to get major. And he lived up out on the right this side of the night place. He had one boy, Walter.
He lived up there by the night place?
Mm-hmm. He lived up there just this side of the night place.
Close off Burnhouse Road.
Down there, the old Clemens place, Dr. Clemens place, where that hole in the ground is.
Right.
The house was right this Saturday.
How was that hole made? Do you know?
No, I don't. I don't know how it's made. It's
just always been up there.
I don't know whether it's just natural or.
Looks like it was dug, don't it?
Huh?
Looks like it was dug.
Yeah.
So, what's his name? Had made whiskey up there. What was his name?
Well, no. Bingham.
Bingham made whiskey
Dick
up
Bingham.
there. Bingham made whiskey up there about the same time. John Edwards. Do you remember him?
Who?
John Edwards.
Yeah. Yeah, he lived over there on some of the bluff road right above me. Daddy was old man Peter Edwards. And Nell Voiders, Nell Drennan, Sam Drennan's daughter, and Leela. His daughter we lived with Uncle Peter over there on the Summer Bluff Road. And John, then Uncle Peter died, and John then got the place there where Uncle Peter lives, and then his daughter, Lucille Bryant, she married Bryant, and Ledyard Bryant lives out this on 231 out here. He sees after the place.
Lucille Bryant, she's still alive, huh?
Huh?
She's still alive?
Yeah, yeah, she still lives out there, right at the foot of the 4 Mile Hill on that road. It goes east from the lady lives in, if you know about a brick house, a big red barn behind it, and that's where lady lives. And then Lucille lives on that road, goes over to the old highway, just the other side of there. I don't know what to call that road. Bud Hobbs used to live on it. She's a little older than I am. I seen her here a while back. She looks pretty good.
Lucille Bryant.
And mine is she still remembers everything. She got all her faculties.
And she was John Edwards'
Daughter.
daughter.
It's the only child he had. She married Ledyard Bryant, and then she had a daughter and one son, and
So the old house set up there before the forks down there. Set up there on the hill before the forks going to Noreen and out going, the house set up there on the left before you go out, going towards Noreen. Old Edwards' house.
No, it sets back off the road. 2-story house sets back off the road, and then where John lives, there's an old house on the north side of the road, just down below it there. Between where I live and the highway, the next house on down towards the highway from my house.
How about Mattie Lou Allen? Did you ever remember her?
Yeah, she's still living.
She is?
Uh-huh.
How old is she?
She's in her 90s, I guess. But she's senile.
Is she?
She still owns the land over there. James Green rents the land from her. She still owns that old place. I guess there's 100 and something acres in it.
But she's pretty senile now, huh?
Yeah, she's in a rest home. She's mighty feeble. Her daughter, married Kenneth Hampton. He lives on the Alta Mill Road, right at the end of the Alta, where it turns off at the Cemetery Bluff Road there. He got a yellow brick house. Kenneth Hampton. His daughter married Kenneth Hampton.
That's Mattie Lou's,
Oh,
Mattie Allen's daughter.
huh?
Mattie's daughter.
Uh-huh, yeah.
How about Bill Alsop?
Who?
Bill Alsop, you remember him, don't you?
Bill Olson.
Yeah. Bill Alsop. I guess that was singing Bill.
I don't know. I don't place him.
Monroe Weatherly, do you remember him?
Who?
Monroe Weatherly.
Oh goodness, yeah. Sorry, yeah. He come down at the store. Him and Uncle Ben to shoot, to get a rifle. Uncle Martin's a pretty good shot. I'd carry some Coca-Cola tops out there, and there's a flat rock in front of the store there across the road. I'd lay them Coca-Cola tops up against the gravel. Him and Uncle Ben wanted to shoot at him, and so they shot up. I put up 6. Uncle Martin knocked 5 of them. Uncle Ben knocked 6. He went in the store to wait on somebody. I said, Uncle, he's doing you up one. Sorry, what's that rascal doing? I said, he's aiming about that far in front of them caps, and busting his bullet and sliding in on you. And wonder he'd put the hole in them caps. He'd put the hole in them caps. Yeah, boy, I thought a lot of everybody called him Uncle Moon.
That's Monroe Weatherly, huh?
Huh?
You called him what? Uncle Bun. Who did you call that?
Uncle Moon, Monroe Weather, we
Uncle
called him
Mon.
Uncle Moon.
You know, I guess Bill Alsop lived up there in that house, in his house before. That set up there before you got to the church. That house set up there before you got to the church. Bill
Got-
Alsop's house.
Before you got to where?
Hurricane Church.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that's down. Yeah, Singing Bill. Yeah, they called him Singing Bill. Yeah, he lived down east of the Hurricane Church, about a mile east of the Hurricane Church. Yeah, they called him. I couldn't get in my head. His Singing Bill. Yeah, he married Becky Harris, and he died, and then she had a son, Becky Howard. She had a son, Herschel Howard, and Winford Howard.
How about Doc Ashworth? Did you know him?
Oh yeah, he's mail carrier.
He was.
He carried the mail from Noreen, came down to 231, and then circled back around. He in a buggy, carried mail in a buggy for years.
Carried it in a buggy to everybody.
From Noreen.
He lived close to the Edwards house, didn't he? He lived close to Edwards. He lived close to the Edwards. His house was pretty close to the Edwards, down at the forks of the road. His house.
No, his house was his house was close to Joe Williams place. It joined the Joe Williams place. That road goes east of Hurricane Church, goes circle back around to the Richmond Shop Road. And he lived over there. There's an old log house, dog trot in the middle. And and yeah, he married Miss Becky. She had 2 sons. Her first husband was Howard, and Herschel Howard and Winford Howard was her 2 sons.
Are they still alive? Do you know?
No, they're both dead. Herschel never did. Herschel never did marry, and Winford he married and hauled milk for years to the Carnation Milk Plant. Herschel.
How about Cody Baskins? Do you remember him?
Yes, Lord. He lived over there off the Whipwheel Road. And the road comes from Whipwheel Road, old Simmons Bluff Road. He lived there. And Jiminy. Miss Ad Baskins his daughter taught school for years, and she's still living. She's right at 100 years old. She's in the rest home out here. And
what rest home is she at?
Huh?
What rest home is she in?
Let's see.
Johnson.
That nowhere right across from the fairground. What's the name of that?
Okay. Is she in pretty good shape?
Yeah, they say her mind's pretty good. She's but everybody my wife went to school to her, and everybody in the country went to school to her.
Where did she teach at?
Huh?
Where did she teach at?
She taught at Liberty. She taught at taught at the Major, and man, I don't know where all she did teach. She taught for years, and taught at Darty's schoolhouse.
How about Ben Bright? You ever know Ben Bright?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know him. I've heard of him. He was Jules Rawson's wife's father, and he was he married Harriet. I don't know what she is. Harriet Sanders, I believe her maiden name was. No, I'd go down there. We'd go down there to Jules's, listen there to fiddle, and ain't Harriet, his mother-in-law. She'd have a chair over there next to the fireplace, and I'd talk to her. She couldn't hear good. And we'd go over there, and she'd motion me to come over there. What's the news? Well, I'd tell her everything I knew in the country, you know. So Jules got to call me Pappy. And, of course, it'd be 4, 5, or 6 of us there, and they'd be a-laughing, which I didn't care. But she seen they laughing at me about something. She'd listen. Finally, one night, she caught on what they were doing. Jules called me Pappy, you know. Man, did you talk about getting... She got off of that walking stick. I'll just beat... Oh, how they ever want to... Said there's only one to talk to me, tell me the thing. Ain't that come bad. I mean, she'd have waved that walking
She's the
stick.
only one, you was the only one that would talk to her, and then they were making fun of you.
Yeah, that's teased me.
And that was Harriet
Yeah,
Bright.
Harriet Bright, yeah. The old woman had a hard time. Her husband died, and man, she'd make a crop just like a man. Get out there and plow, make a crop just like a man. And then Miss Callie, she's Jewish, her wife. And then they had got a daughter, Elizabeth. Elizabeth worked out here at the park for years. Jewish.
Elizabeth, what's her name? Elizabeth.
Huh?
What was her name? Elizabeth what?
Yeah, Elizabeth Lanham. She married Douglas Lanham.
She's still alive, isn't she?
She Ross. Yeah, she lived down the Richmond Shop Road west of the highway. I talked to her the next full ass.
Who's she married?
Douglas Lanham.
Who?
Douglas Lanham.
Douglas.
He died, had a heart attack and died this unloading a bunch of hogs, truckload of hogs down here at Nashville. Stockyard, and my George fell over dead.
How about Doc Carpenter? Who was he?
Just got a call the other day. He is an old man, lived down Richmond Shop Road West. Lived by himself. His wife left him. And his sister married Oscar Underwood, and Oscar Underwood lived where Chris Lee lived at that time. Well, he's living down there by himself, and he'd come over to Oscar's every morning and get his breakfast, and Oscar's wife and his sister, she'd fix him food. Lived there by himself. His wife left him. He had a wife and 4 children, but his wife left him. The old man owned a little old place there, about, 15, 20 acres. And he lived there by himself. Well, he got in bad shape. Oscar Underwood moved off, and Perry Underwood, his nephew, lived down there just below us where we lived on 231. And one morning I was down there turning out the cattle, and Perry says he'd go down and see about old man Doc every few days, and it's Sunday morning. And he said, go with me down to Uncle Doc. Says, be back in a little while. And so we started around the barn to go down there, and Uncle George's folks drove up out in front of the house there, and I seen him. I said, Perry, I can't go. Well, Perry went down there, and they're going to carry the old man to the poorhouse. That's on Sunday morning. They're going to carry him that evening. And he
just didn't have any money, didn't have any way to make a.
Huh?
He didn't have any money, didn't have any way to feed himself. So they was gonna carry him to the poorhouse.
Yeah. And so Perry went down there, and there's a big oak tree stood out there that had 2 roots run out like that, and he made him a seat. Georgie stuck a shotgun right there, took a forky stick and pushed the trigger, blew the whole top of his head off. Chickens was eating his brains. And so his great-granddaughter called me the other day and says, asked me, says, if I knew him. I said, yeah. She says, what made him kill himself? I was going to carry him to the rest home. He said he's going to live as long as he lived. George, he did. I don't know why his children didn't see after him. Asa Carpenter had a job out here where they used to have that rock crusher right where that rock hole is across from the co-op there, you know. He's a waymaster, bookkeeper or something there. And he had three boys and a girl. I don't know why they didn't see it. His granddaughter told me that the reason his wife left him didn't have nothing to eat. And Jules said one day he's down there, he's going down the road, and old man Doc told him, said, Jules, come in here. Says he had a sore on his side, and it wouldn't cure up. And he said, there's something bothered me there. And Jules said he looked and said, there's a maggot half as big as his little finger. Just, man, that gentleman just to work.
So the old man was in pretty bad shape.
Hmm?
He was in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, yeah, he is. The old man is feeble. They buried him out there that evening, right at that side of the house. His grave's down there, and she wanted to know where his grave was so that she could put up a tombstone. But Elizabeth Robinson Lanham told me the other night, said the grave wasn't, they hit rock, and said the grave wasn't very deep. Somebody, Orville Summers, his nephew, built a rock wall around it, about foot high, 2 foot high or something, filled it up with dirt, but somebody stole the rock around it. She said he wasn't on the ground over a couple of feet.
You know E.P. Carroll?
D.P.?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ernest Carroll. Yeah. Yeah, he was sharpened saws all the time in the forest. And he lived over there, an old place the other side of Harrican Church. He had two boys. Man, I'm getting old. Done got old.
Shannon was one of his sons. Shannon Carroll.
Shannon, yeah, Shannon, and then the other name I forget what his name was. Man, terrible to get the way you can't think about. Can't think.
Did you know? Did you know Doc Clemens?
Doc Clemens?
Yeah. You never did know him?
No, that'd be before I was born. My daddy bought that old house down there, that old 2-story house, you know. Bought that and him.
Where was that at? The old 2-story house. Where was that at?
Down 231 highway, about 2 miles north of Vine on 231 highway. The old 2-story house. Great big old two.
That they're redoing now?
Huh?
That they're redoing?
Yeah.
You mean Leon's old house that he used to
Yeah,
have? Okay.
Yeah, Mom and Daddy married in 1908, and he bought the place from George Huddleston. George was congressman from Alabama. And Uncle Frank, his daddy lived there, and he died. And so Daddy bought the place from George, and I was born there. And we lived there till 1912. And Daddy moved to Marlboro, and sold the place, moved to Marlboro. And Doc Clemens, I never did know much about him. He built a house back in the 1800s, sometime in the 1800s, and there's 300 something acres to the place at that time, and Daddy give $3,500 for it.
Well, what was that? I heard that house was used during the Civil War. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that, but I think that's a mistake. I never did.
Where's he buried at? I'm showing a
Who?
dot.
I don't know.
I'm showing a grave out there.
I don't have no idea where he's buried.
It's showing a somewhere off Richmond Shop Road. No, that's Doc Carpenter's. Oh, let me see. I got the wrong Doc Clemens, 38. How about John Cluck? Did you know where did you know him?
Mm-hmm.
What'd he do for a living?
He farmed. He had lived up there on Birdhouse Road. Farm. He had 3 girls, and 2 boys. And Hollis Cluck and Denver Cluck. Denver died. And Hollis is still living, and one of the girls is dead. And had twin girls. And his wife still living. One of the girls still lives up there on this Birdhouse Road. I tell you a fella, Merritt Graves. Have you ever met him?
Merritt Graves?
Mm-hmm. He, I sold him 5 acres of land. He's a principal down in Nashville, some school down in Nashville. He's got all the Clucks and all the rights, writes books of different families, and he come over to my house one day and says, "You know where the Jim Cluck place is?" I says, "Yeah, you're sitting right in the middle of it. His great granddaddy's place." And so he's got all the Cluck history and all the Huddleston and all the Edwards, and man,
Who was Andrew Clymer?
Clymer?
Uh-huh.
Andy Clymer?
Mm-hmm.
He's an old man that owned about 200 acres of land over here on Chicken Road. Talon Ben bought the place, and James Pardon owns them now.
You didn't know much about him other than he just owned the place.
What is that?
You didn't know much about him other than he just owned the place.
Yeah, that's about all.
Is that where they've got the dynamite factory back in there?
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. James Pardon, he lives up there on top of the hill. Yeah, Talon Ben bought the place and kept it. When I married, me and my wife lived over the first 2 years we married.
Where was the Clopton's house at? Do you remember that?
Proctor?
Clopton.
Huh?
Clopton.
Clopton, oh yeah.
Clopton.
Yeah, it was right after you cross Harrison Creek. Well,
It's the Susie Warren house, right?
huh?
Susie Warren house, the same house?
The Susan Warren house is on that road before you get to the bridge, you know, it turns back north, goes.
Yeah.
It is there's a curve over there, it's right in it's curve over there. And
The
that's,
house was in the curve.
uh-huh,
Okay.
is it,
Before you get to the burnt house.
yeah, about halfway between the Cedar Forest Road and the Birdhouse Road. Road makes a curve like that, the house said, oh yeah.
Where it went straight, the house sat there instead of going around.
Yeah.
Where did the Clopton's place sit?
Clopton.
Ed.
It is just after you cross the Harrison Creek Bridge. Just you know where them glades are. Just right across the road from them glades, where you got all that dirt pushed up.
So it's on the left-hand side of the road going
On the left-hand side going east.
What did Ed do? Much anything? That's baby's daddy, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
He drank a lot smart too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, you know. Gosh, him and his wife lived in the car. God, George stayed around this, I don't know how in the world. They lived in the car for a year or two.
Well, his dad, Ed, what'd he do for a living?
He farmed, had cattle and things. I think, he did paint a while. He up north somewhere. He had a place up north somewhere. He worked. I think he's a painter.
And did he drank quite a bit too, didn't he?
Yeah. Was Harrigan one Sunday, and he drove up an old T model Ford. Reached over to see about his car, and a half pint fell out, which sliding down. Man, you talk about digging. He finally got it. He come up at the store and he bummed the backer. He take his pipe and he pours the backer out and he pushes it down the side of it, you know. He fit his pipe up and then he pushed about a couple of pipe full down and put it in his pocket. You know? It was a great character.
How about Jim Daughtry?
Who?
Jim Daughtry? Sugar Jim? Did you know him?
Yeah, Sugar Jim, we called him. He lived just above the highway, just 231 highway on Summers Bluff Road. A bunch of pines where I sat out in pines, just about 40 minutes to the store up yonder off the 231 on the Summers Bluff Road. Sugar Jim, they called him.
Wonder how he got his name.
He said when he was a kid, his mother makes sugar tits, you know, put the sugar in a sack, you know, and that's how he got his name, Sugar Jim.
Sugar tits, huh? That's what they call it. What, they give that to the baby to keep him satisfied? Or?
I reckon, yeah. But they said he done that to a great big boy.
He liked him, huh?
Yeah.
How about Sam Drennan? Did you know him?
Sam Majors.
Drennan.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's Nell and Leela and Thomas, Malcolm.
Is any of those folks still alive?
Huh?
Are any of the Drennans still alive?
No. Leela and Malcolm is. Thomas and Nell are dead. Leela married James Green, and they live on Summers Bluff Road.
So all the Drennans are
Who?
not even alive anymore.
Who?
Drennan. James Green was his wife.
His wife.
James Green's wife was Sam Drennan's daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. she married Eskew, and he died, and so she married James. Then.
She's still alive?
Oh, Eskew died.
I mean,
Oh, James Green, yeah. He's got a brick house down there with a rock garage in front, right across the road from it.
right there on.
His brother, Thomas, is a millionaire. That bird, he went to the little old boy. He went out in Wyoming and got with a oil business. And now George got to buying broken oil well bits and repairing them. And little rascal millionaire, he owns a condominium over yonder between Moselsboro and Smyrna. And he bought a piece of land over south of Moselsboro. Give $10,000 for it and sold for $110,000.
Did you know Minerva Dunn?
Made over done?
Uh-huh. You didn't know anything about Miss Minerva Dunn?
No, I don't know. Never did know Minerva done.
You ever heard of her? J.W. Sanders. Do you know him? J.W. Sanders?
J.W. Sanders?
Mm-hmm.
Was that Boots Sanders?
I don't know. Who's Boots?
Old man Boots lived over there on the Summer Bluff Road, just about a mile and a half from 231. And now the old man, my wife is named after him. Doss Edwards, an old bachelor uncle of hers, and he nicknamed all the kids, and he said she talked like Boots Sanders when she was a kid, and I thought she's gone by Boots all her life. And everybody knows her Boots now. And old man Boots, he'd sit on the porch, and the road curved like that just above his house. You'd pass that in a buggy. He'd see you coming. He'd run in. Hold on. Where you going? Give it you back. What's the news? You get between the buggy wheel and you couldn't talk for 2 hours. You couldn't get away from him. And
He'd just run you down outside.
Yeah.
He'd see you coming down the road. He'd just run you down. Huh?
Yeah, he'd run
He
out.
wanted to talk to somebody, wasn't he?
Yeah, as you come down the road, the buggy, man, he'd stop you. Hold on. Where you going? Give it you back. What's the news?
Who was John Edwards? We talked about John, didn't we?
Yeah,
Irene.
he is.
Who's Orb Edwards?
He is Uncle Tater Boone Edwards' son. He and Uncle Tater had 3 boys: Baby Boone, and Orb, and Hollis, and Orb. He run a store with Herrick in a while, and he had a stroke and finally died. And he lived over there joining places to me for a while. And then he run a store at Hurricane a while, and he built a house down there below Hurricane on the old green place. And but he and his wife both finally died.
Peter Edwards, was he kin to him?
Who?
Peter Edwards.
Mm-hmm. That is Lucille's grandfather. Old man Peter, he lived down there in that big 2-story house sits off the road just below my house. He owned about 200 acres of land down there, and he is John Edwards' daddy, and Nell Drennan, Sam Drennan's daughter, and Leela, she was Sam's daughter, and Sam was married his daughter, old man Peter's daughter, and so their granddaddy raised him, kept him long. He lived. His wife died, and so them two girls lived with him as long as he lived.
Who was Charlie Elliott?
Charlie Elliott, he was a fellow that lived over there at Harrican, and he had about 4 or 5 children, and he finally died, and his wife then married Lee Williams, and one of his girls was in town one day at the store. Somebody patted me on the shoulder, and I looked around, and there's Lucille Elliott. And she says, "Dick," said, "I won the lottery in Kentucky, $3 million. Charlie died, and they lived over in an old house and didn't hardly have enough to eat in the old open house. She won that lottery in Kentucky.
Buck Fisher, did you know him?
Who?
Buck Fisher.
Yeah, yeah. He run a sawmill up here off the, let's see, off the Richmond Shop Road back east. Yeah, he run a sawmill. He had a son, a porter fisher, and yeah, he run a sawmill up there for a good while, and I think the old man finally died. He was a great big, strong man. And they'd haul lumber to Lebanon with a 4-horse team, and they'd pass home every day or two, a load of lumber. Porter, he finally died. He never did marry.
But he was a sawmill man. Where was his sawmill at?
Huh?
Where was his sawmill at?
It's up there east of, on the Richmond Shop Road, east, about 3 miles from the highway, and I think he run a sawmill up there. I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
On past Dude's place, on past Dude's place.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
back
yeah,
back there where-
on back, yeah, on past Dude place, on back about a half mile on up there.
Before you get to
Huh?
before you get to Lim Hall's place.
Yeah, no, after you, just the other side of that road, turn down to Lim Hall, you go straight east, and it's about, I'd say 40 minutes store up there, on up the road there.
Wasn't there a big sawmill up past the fire tower?
Huh?
Wasn't there a sawmill up past the fire tower on the right up there?
Past the fire tower?
On going towards your house. Wasn't there a big sawmill down in there at one time?
No, I don't remember one being down in there.
Who was Green?
Who?
Green.
Grain Reed?
Green. Elmer Green.
Yeah,
You know Elmer?
yeah, yeah. He lived over there on the Hurricane Road, going south. He's. I don't think he ever. I think he is an old bachelor. I don't think he ever married. No, he laughed at him. He had some calves out on the road. Homer Quarles, the trader, he come by and Homer went on a bunch of foolishness all the time. Anybody that didn't know him think he was crazy. And Homer bought his calves and started giving him a check. And Elmer thought he was crazy. He wouldn't take his check. He had to go down to that store and get Uncle Ben and give a check. But Homer, he carry on a bunch of foolishness all the time. People, he's a good trader. That George, you trade with him, you get beat if you didn't watch. And
How about John Harris? Did you know him?
John Harris?
Harris.
No, I don't remember him.
How about George Hackney?
George
Hackney?
George Hackney?
Yeah. How about Goat Hobbs? Do you remember him?
That's before my day.
Goat Hobbs. You remember any stories about him?
Well, he had a house on the Hurricane Road, south of Hurricane Church over there. He said his log house, his dog trot in the middle, and some woman, I forget who she was, come to the store down there one day and said when she was a girl she used to go to Goat Hobbs's, and she wanted to go to where the old house had been. Well, I'd planted pines where the old house place was, and I carried over and showed it. And but he is way before my day.
What did you ever hear anything about Jackson? Why the cave's named Jackson, or about him, Jackson's Cave? You know, this used to be the Jackson place.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever hear any stories about him?
No, I never didn't hear anything. Only just Jackson Place and Jackson Cave.
So
that's all I ever. I never did hear no particular about him.
Did you ever hear any stories about a black man living in one of these caves?
Mm-mm.
Never did hear anything about Ben Coy, I think what they called.
Ben what?
Coy. You never did hear that story.
No, I never did.
You never did hear any stories about the cave being a treasure buried in it or anything?
No. No, I never did.
You've heard that it goes all the way to the square, though, hadn't you? You heard people say, does it go to the square?
Huh?
Have you heard people say, does it go to the square?
Go to the square?
Yeah, people ask them, does it go all the way to Lebanon? That's what they think.
No.
You never did hear them say that? How about Doc Jones? Did you?
Oh, yeah.
You knew him?
Yeah. Yeah, he had a daughter, and son. He lived back up yonder. Had a place back up yonder off the Forest Road there, where the Forest Road is now. And he lived up there by himself for years. His wife died.
What did he do for a living?
Farm.
His farm.
Mm-hmm. Had cattle.
Did you know Dave Jordan?
Gordon.
Jordan.
James.
Dave Jordan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he used to sing, lead the singing at Hurricane Church, at Vine Church.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great big old man, lived down in Moxon area, and had a place down there. ride horseback to find, sang. He led the singing. And he, I don't know, he went over here on the other side of Lebanon somewhere. And I believe somebody killed him, didn't he? Something happened to him. I forget now what did happen to him.
Did you know William Fry?
Who?
William Fry.
Bill Fry, yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. He's a great tall old man. He come in here from after the Civil War. Nobody never did know where he come from, and he lived over there. And he married his wife, and she'd get up and shout at Harrigan. She had 7 gals and nary one of them a boy. 9 gals. 9 gals and nary one of them a boy. And so I remember the old man. He was a great tall old man, had whiskers down here. I know me and my uncle was hunting, and he trapped, and there's a rock fence down at the end of the field where we was hunting. This broom sage up this high. We was going along through that, and Mr. Fry was walking that rock fence. He didn't see us, and a rabbit jumped over the fence right in front of him. It sort of scared him. He kicked at him. Go ahead, Mia. He had a handle to it. It tickled us. We just dropped down there. Old man Bill, he used to have he lived back in the woods there. And his mailbox was 40 me at the tool shed over yonder from his house, and he'd pass along there, and he'd be sitting on the side of the mailbox reading his paper, you know.
Now Harvey, Charlie, and Matt. Harvey Knight and Charlie Knight was Matt Knight's sons, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And they all the Knights lived up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where that cemetery's at. There's some of them buried up there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which one. But.
Yeah, we was up there, me and Merritt Graves, he wanted to go up there. We went up there last fall.
They used to have a big house up there, play music.
Huh?
They used to have a big house up there. Used to be a big house up there where they lived.
Matt Knight, he had a good house. The forest tore it down. And then Charlie, there's a house on the Charlie Knight place. It wasn't too good a house. Had a dog trot through the middle. They tore it down. Then I lived at the Harvey Knight place, and it was five room.
Who didn't they have an accident up there one time? Somebody got killed.
Yeah, Odin Pardon hung himself. Yeah, Herman Kelly lived there. And Odin, he's kind of, I don't know, he wasn't too smart. He got staying up at Herman's. And so he got missing. Well, he had some money, and Walter Pardon, his brother, wouldn't let him have it. He said he'd just throw it away, and it just worried him to death because he couldn't get his money. And so he went out there to an elm tree, and a limb about as high as that, tied a rope around it, and hung himself. And he was missing for a long time, and so Kelly's wife was driving up some cows one day, and there's cow path come pretty close to where he hung himself, and the rope had broke. He'd fell laying there. They had to take a shovel and put him in a bag, bury him.
He hung there a pretty good while then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Holden, he's painted. They said he was a good painter, but they always said he wasn't exactly right.
Wasn't there an accident up there too at the night place about a sorghum? Didn't somebody's head get smashed up there? Or
Did what?
didn't somebody's head get smashed on a sorghum mill or something up there one time up at the night place?
Yeah, fellow. That was one of the nights, wasn't it? No, he was feeding the sorghum mill, and the team run away, was running around, caught his head between the sweep and the pole, and just crushed his head. Let's see, his name was. You know his name? I've heard his name, but I forgot it.
Did you ever remember seeing Matt Knight up there? Did you remember him?
No,
he was
he's
dead before.
for my day.
But you remember Harvey real good. And
Yeah,
Charlie.
yeah, I remember Harley. I don't remember Mr. Charlie. But I remember Mr. Harvey, and he hauled milk for us for years.
How about Jim Tilllam? Do you remember him?
Yeah. They lived down at Vine, and Jim Till let them, but I'd seen him down there at the Garrett store. Old man Henry Garrett run a store down at Vine for years, and he lived down there.
Did you know who was the fella that they wouldn't move off the forest and they had to come and get him?
Proctor.
Proctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They kept asking me to get him under a contract. He wouldn't sign the contract for me. And so one day, I was greasing the truck down that shed. Two guys come around the building. Guns are hanging on them. I think, what in the Sam Hill is this? And two United States, what do you call them? United States officers or some kind.
Marshals.
Marshal, yeah. Come around and says, what was his given name? Anyway, Proctor. I said, yeah. He says, you ever signed a contract? I know. He says, we've come to move him out. He says, get in the car with us. We want to go down there. We went down there. He'd gone to town. And so we went to town and seen him. Went to town, he'd gone home when we got to town. Went back down there. And he come out the door. So they gave him, I don't know, 3 or 4 days to move out, get moving. And he agreed to move. And he moved off.
But he was renting that place, or did he move in there?
Well, he claimed that what he owed for the place, and when they paid it, they paid the man he owed for the place. He got the money, and he claimed he never got they didn't pay him for his place, is what he claimed. And I don't know.
So he had bought the place from somebody.
Yeah.
And they paid the person, and he never did pay the guy for the place. He just moved in.
Yeah.
And so he claimed
Yeah.
that it was his place.
Yeah. Yeah, one night, having square dances, one of his boys comes at square dance, and he got to cutting up or cussing out there in front of his lodge. I went out there. I said, Proctor, you'll have to leave. Oh, you made my daddy move. I said, no, I didn't make your daddy move. I said, them officers made your daddy move. And so I got him. He had come with some more boys out there in the car. I got him arm, was leading him out there. Got out there and I had him by the left arm. And got out there at the parking lot where his light was. I looked and he had a knife, about George's blade that long in his right hand. And he kept trying to get around, but I was holding his, I didn't know he had that knife, but I noticed he kept trying to pull around, but I was holding him at that. That was the nearest ever I come getting cut, I reckon. But he fixed to cut me with that knife.
You didn't even know it? You didn't have a gun or anything. They wanted you to be a peace officer, or did you just take this on?
Mm-hmm.
They wanted you to keep the peace, but didn't give you a gun or anything.
Wouldn't give you a gun or nothing. Didn't give you nothing. I know one night I was over there. Some boys got coming from Walt Hill. Fellas having a square dancer down Sulphur Springs, and they'd broke his square dance up. And so they come over here to square dance to the forest. And I went out there, heard a commotion. I heard them. They was out there in front of the lodge, the cussing that going on. I said, boys, y'all have to leave. You got too much. Well, they give me a little jaw, but they left. Next Saturday night, they come back. And so they got to carrying on out there, and so I went out. Earl Sloan was with me. He was working with us. I come around the back of the lodge and come around the side there, and the front doors is here, and there's goes back like that, and then the doors back there. Well, I was standing on the window there, and they kept getting rougher and rougher. One of them got up in my face, and I shoved him back. And old Horace Young, about 6'4" or 5 feet tall, big with it. I seen a shadow come over the window. Man, he seen what I was into. Them guys are fixing to work me over. I mean, good. And he come around the lodge just flying. He walked up. They're just ready.
Just fixing to jump
They're
on.
just ready to get on me good and proper. And so he said, you blanks, says, this is a friend of mine, says, y'all better get out y'all, I'm going to start knocking heads. But they took off and never did come back no more. I've always thought a lot of old Horace after that, but George, he saved me from getting beat up.
Do you know Lester and Hardin Merritt?
Who?
Lester and Hardin Merritt. Merritts.
Yeah,
Lester and
yeah,
Hardin.
Hardin Merritt and Robert. Robert.
They used to live out towards your way, didn't they?
Yeah. Lester, I reckon he's still living. I don't know. Robert's dead, but no, I knew both of them. Robert was the best mechanic there was in the country.
How about Charlie Gilly McPeak? Did you know him?
Charlie Gilly? Oh, yes, mind you, yes. Oh, man. He was cutting timber up the road there. Town being on no place up the road there, and they had cedar on it, and they was letting Charlie cut cedar on the chairs. He was cutting along the side of the road, and it was hot weather, and Columbus Lane come down the store, lived on up above. He come down the store walking, got a jug of coal oil, kerosene, and a clear glass jug. Went back up the road. Charlie seen that jug. Oh, say yes, Lane, give me a drink of water. Columbus handed it to him, and Columbus said his dog barked, and he looked around and said he never thought about him drinking. He took a stopper out, turned it up, drank a swallow or two before he tasted it. Uncle Ben sitting on the store porch. Charlie was coming, looked up and seen Charlie coming down the road about a half a trot. Uh-oh, something wrong, Charlie, don't move that fast. He got up there about the skills. He said, oh, say, Ben, get the car, get the car. Said, Lane poisoned me. What do you mean, Charlie? Said, Lane, give me coal oil. He said, oh, we can fix that. He carried him over to the house, and Aunt Evie fried up some side meat. He drank the grease, eat that side meat, drank about a half pot of coffee, and went back to work. No, Charlie, he dig ginseng. And though one time he come up there, he had what we used to get peck of meal in a meal sack. He had a meal sack full of ginseng. And Uncle Tal had a load of lambs going to carry them to Nashville in the truck. He got in the truck, oh, say, yes, Tal, can I go to Nashville? Yeah. And got in the truck. Yeah, says, my load will bring more than yours. Sure enough, it did. The ginsengs, he dig ginseng all over the country.
Who was Pie Pardon?
Pie Pardon was Walter Pardon's brother, and he lived up here right close to Harvey Knight's place. Little old house lived up there. He lived up there a while, and he went to Oregon. And Georgie died in Oregon. That's about all I ever know about him.
You know, Quisenberries. Did you know any of them? Zolly Quisenberry?
Yeah, yeah, Zolly Quisenberry run a store at Harrigan a good while. Moved up at Noreen, owned a place up there a while, and then he moved to Lebanon. Then he moved to Oklahoma, Garman, Oklahoma, and his wife died week before last. It come out in the paper. His wife just died. He died several years ago.
How about Elijah Patton?
Elisha Patton, I didn't know. I didn't know nothing. I've heard of him, but I didn't know nothing about him.
Didn't know him. And Sam Beard Patterson, did you ever know him?
Who?
Patterson, Sam Beard Patterson.
No, that's all before my day. Sam Beard was his son-in-law, and he had Howard Beard and Ruby and Vesta.
Now that house sit right over besides the horse barn over there somewhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
Used to be a little well. There's a well there.
Yeah.
Did you know Brud Sullivan?
Who?
Brud Sullivan. Sullivan.
George Sullivan?
No, Brud Sullivan.
No, he was for my day.
How about Buddy Summers? Did we talk about Buddy
Who?
Summers? Buddy Summers?
Yeah, I knew Buddy Summers. Yeah. Yeah, Uncle Buddy. We called him Uncle Buddy. He is Doc Carpenter's wife was his sister. Buddy Summers' sister. And Uncle Buddy lived down there. He owned a place down there. He had a son, Orville, and he had a daughter, Willie, and Billy Ashworth is his grandson. Billy lives here at Lebanon.
You know Laura Thompson?
Oh yeah, yeah. Miss Laura, she married Magnus Thompson. He died. She made a crop, and George, did I drop that?
We'll vacuum it.
She married Magnus Thompson. He died. She had two girls, Lois and Zumi Mae, and she lived back over there and made a crop, and her and them girls worked, and they rode horseback and went to major school. And I was asking somebody the other day, I don't know what become of Lois and Jimmy May. Last I heard of Jimmy May, she's up at Oak Ridge, working up there, and so I don't know what ever come of them.
Did you know, Dr. Vaughn? Did you ever hear of him?
Before my day.
John Ward?
Who?
John Ward. About Nathan Robertson.
Oh, yeah, I just knew of him. Yeah, he's a lawyer here in Lebanon, and I wasn't personally acquainted with him. I just knew him.
How about Charlie Timms?
No, Charlie Timms was his boy Elmer worked with us a good while, but Charlie, that is before my day.
How about Dungan Morris?
Who?
Dugan Morris. Tom Morris.
Tom Moss. Oh
Morris.
yeah. Him, yeah, they Tom had Harris Morse and Irvin Morse and Andrew Morse and one girl, and he lived around through the country all years.
I can't think of anything else to ask him right off. Can you, Ken? We ask him enough about the park. I'll think of something else. I'll come out your house sometime if you don't care. Talk to
You do that. Be glad to you come anytime. Anytime.
Appreciate you letting us do this.